Top morning, laddies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Deku Was. Or, actually, to make it more interesting, one of the comments says, what if female Zuku was in. Or was. Hold on, give me a moment. Ujiko Hoon's successor. Or was it? Yeah. So, or the Quirk Doctor's successor. That's what I always referred to him. So, yeah. So they. And yes, I know. In. So the quirk. Or quirk that I'm giving female Zuku is actually two quirks. One is limit quirk, and one is endless or be a mortal quirk. Or self healing. Like basically she could heal herself or heal others all the way to their prime. It's like how Aries with her rewind quirk, but on a whole nother level. So yeah. And her limit quirk, I was trying to figure it out, but her limit quirk does the same thing, except instead of doing like reversing people's aging or any of the like craziest stuff, she could put a limit on them, or she could remove their limits. Even if they wanted to, or if she wants to give them a full quirk, like say if, the human Pikachu, or I forget his name, the one in Class A that always shocks himself, this guy right here, she could go up to him and place his hand on her hand on his shoulder, and now he has a full quirk. Like it's basically she like kind of like surgically removed it and re-obstruct it like what Overhaul does, and put it right back into without the quirk even noticing, or without his brain even noticing it. So yeah. So the relationship. So yeah. The at age of 4, her after the quirk doctor, as she wanted to become, or actually at the age of 3 she met Bakugo. Yeah. Or no, not Bakugo. Todoroki. I just woke up from my nap, okay? Leave me alone. Okay, so Todoroki, he and her spend a lot of quality time together when they were only 3 years old, like play around. And then the quirk doctor or like after age of 4, her mother and her father took her to the court doctor, and so after that, they left, and the court doctor tells her that she could become a pro hero and the doctor. So, yeah. So then when at age of 15, she wanted to become a hero, but then, yeah. So she ends up being his assistant. A lovely assistant. And yeah. So, and Todoroki, yeah, he blushes every time he sees her. They're 10, yeah. So now they were at 15. As Momo decides to play puppeteer, or like use Todoroki to like not love Zuku, or female Zuku, who. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of do the like little manipulation thing kind of for Momo, because it's just in this what if. So I know she has a creative quirk, but she manipulated him. So she told, or so Todoroki had no interest of being loved by, or had no love for Momo. But then when she like secretly, or like lied to him, so he ends up, yeah, he told her Zuku, I'll just say, instead of the full name, female Zuku, or Zumi, I'll just say Zumi. So Zumi, when she heard that her favorite friend, her best friend, became friended her, she couldn't believe that her own friend just straight up throw their relationship away. So yeah. And so now when she heard that, she cried. She was cowering in the corner of as the court doctor understands that as the court doctor and her just like, she wanted Or so she, of course, he says, I know you're my assistant. Come with me. As she comes with him to his Nomu lab, should I say? Or villain lab. As when she saw what he was mostly capable of, as he tells her that you really want your revenge on somebody, don't you? As he's blaming, she says, I'm blaming him. As she tells him that since, of course, because she knows that he didn't want to hurt her feelings, Momo, decided to do that. To make Todoroki and her, the Zumi, to break up so that the Momo could come in for the as time goes on, as the all for one transformed her from the innocent little girl into a psycho murderer. That's because the quirk doctor and all for one puts quirks inside her. But they did not know that she had a infinity power and zero, making her broken. Like over 9,000 kind in infinity and zero. So yeah. So then the villains started to form, like, into a league of villains, or little villain, like, meeting thing, as Overhaul went to there to see if it was a waste of time or not. But then when he turns his head, he sees Zumi, beautiful as a flower. Or so he, as he's blushing. Most of the villains that were boys, they all blushed. That's because they were like, she's so cute. I just want to. Because, So then, all for one tells them that the plans, things, and of taking USJ name or killing All Might and all that stuff. As she says, that sounds interesting. As she like as the hand over his face was still like he's blushing because he knows that she's the successor for the court doctor. Yeah. So then now we switch over to UA. So then Todoroki does that like thing as he joins he becomes class 1A ball throw. I'm skipping the like a internship thing and or to get into UA and the ball throw and heroes versus villains because it's similar canon but without Zuku/Zumi in there. So yeah, then he basically walks over to him as yeah. So he or so she so Momo ended up like after the heroes versus villains thing. Momo decided to do like grabs Todoroki's arm. Yeah. And she starts flirting with him. So yeah. As before, who was watching all this happen was of course Zumi, a female Zuku who that's what I'm referring to her like Zumi. As she sees as she couldn't believe that her own boyfriend is like checking out other girls because so that yeah so she's basically left as she's crying again or actually yeah because as she understands that guess he's not a right man for me. That's what she's saying in her head. As Kirigiri understands that she must be in a lot of pain. As, yeah, pain without love. Yeah. So basically, basically Overhaul came to visit, as she's in, or actually Zumi was in her bedroom, because as she comes to, of course, her mom is not worried. And yeah, so they're going through a hardships things. So basically, yeah, Todoroki and Zumi, that's female Zuku's is that I'm saying. In as he, yeah. So then the next day, let's say UA is about to come up. If you're interested in, as Overhaul tells, or no, actually, hand over his face says, if you're interested, I know, or of course, he says, I know that Todoroki, or that boy, he abandoned you to go with some other girl. Oh. Yeah. So, she ends up going, as she wears like a mask and a hoodie, so that with her outfit, as, yeah, as he basically, so let's say Todoroki was by himself. He's about to or he took care of all the villains except for one, as as he tells, or as, or actually, yeah. So she's about to, so of course she knew that he's about to, as long time no see, Todoroki, and since as she reveals kind of like her face, as, yeah, he kind of felt bad for leaving her. She, as she couldn't as Todoroki says, Zumi, is that you? Why are you a villain? Because I know that, and since after the you abandoned me, or abandoned the, or threw away our relationship thing. I hate, and plus my master showed me that you went for the, I believe her name was Moma Irozu. Who? Is that right? Or Momo for short? I seen what you were looking at. Understand that. So I chose, was, I wanted to be a hero, but I'm just sad. And because once I saw you and Momo together, as they start fighting, as, yeah. So she basically got called on to assist hand over face in the blushy tone, as, yeah, so she says, see you later, Eater, Todoroki, as she jumps and she runs faster than any normal person would do. As Todoroki couldn't believe that his own friend turned evil because of him. As he's like, so then, yeah, Todoroki, yeah. And this is what they looked like at the sports, or not sports, the UA grounds. As she comes back, as All Might was about to, yeah. So All Might moves fast. You know that, like, he takes out the entire, like, 3 people or 2 people or everybody. Well, Zumi dodges the attack. And she's like, man, you're too slow, All Might. And, yeah. As the part of her outfit, like her shoulder pad, or her shoulder, got ripped. Just enough to, it's like, it was like, it's like that bar that goes across that guy's, like, entire front shoulder, as her like, shoulder. Yeah. Basically like that. As she she regenerates the blood that lost. As hand over face couldn't believe that someone would rather hurt his friend, and so he's about to like, but then she turns around real quick and she dodges or pushes Shiraki-san out of the way as she gets shot at twice in both like front of her stomach or and as Handor says things, and he runs up to her as he turns her over with only like 4 fingers, as when as Kirigiri was about to, or actually Kirigiri warps both of them to safety. Because actually, all the boy villains, couldn't believe that the hero shot Zumi. Because every boy that was there, or all the villains, wanted her. Yeah, wanted Zumi for themselves. Yeah. But then when one of the Overhaul's goons went, and when he came back, of course, he told Overhaul that Zumi got shot, and Overhaul is like, in this what if, he loves her so much, as he is, plus the bullets were like she's trying to stop the bleeding from, as the court doctor is working very hard on removing the bullets from her sides, and trying to fix up the organs. As Overhaul, or all the villains were just standing there. They through the like watching glass, as all of them are like, he should have just get like punished for their crime, hurting a beautiful girl like Zumi, as there starts to, as even Overhaul agrees with them that the villains, or like, of course, Toga and Dobby got recruited to League of Villains, and of course Dobby is Todoroki's brother. But when he heard that Zumi got injured during the USJ, he was about to kill anyone who even comes close to Zumi, like tries to harm her. That's how all the villains feel about. So she's really protected. And yeah. As the court doctor tells all of the villains that she'll make a full recovery. She needs some rest. The bullets were almost pierced through her stomach. If it cracked anymore, she wouldn't probably make it. So, as everyone had that face, it says, don't say that. Okay? Yeah. So the 2 weeks, like, recovering. So now we go over to UA. And, first, before we go any further, let's get back to where it was. The UA, or USJ, Todoroki had doubts about abandoning her as he sat by him lonesome. He needed some alone time. And she basically, Momo didn't heard what their conversation was about, so she went and confronted Todoroki by herself. So, what has the villain, the one that you talked to? Oh, the green-haired girl? Or dark green hair? That's Zumi. She was my beloved and one. I used to know her for since me and her were only 3 years old. Since then, time did change for her and I. Since it feels like it's my fault that she became more villain than a hero. Because it wasn't, as Momo says, it wasn't your fault. It was mine. She went after you because she knew that you were. He thought, or that you who threw away you and hers relationship away because all that other stuff. So and and tell me in the comments of who would who's the best actress or actor there in this situation. So then, yeah. So then, when Endeavor asked him, what's wrong, Todoroki? You seem so quiet. Since after USJ incident? And you seem so, like, out of it. Please tell me. As he takes a deep breath, as he tells him everything. Well, as his sister could tell that as she, of course, he asked his sister that, have you ever manipulated anyone to do anything for them or for you? As, yeah, hold on. So she says, no, little brother, I actually never actually manipulated anyone and to do anything for me. Well, why? Well, one of my classmates, Momo, from or as an Endeavor knows that rich kid, that spoiled rich kid, and as he says, well, did she, well, of course, he says, well, Momo manipulated me of became defriended with Zumi. As when they heard that, Endeavor couldn't believe that her. So you're basically saying that that spoiled rich kid and Momo manipulated you to get rid of Zumi out of your life, so that for what? As he takes another breather for Momo to be the girlfriend thing. As yeah, most girls do that. They fight over a boy that they like. But what happened back there, or back a couple days ago, wasn't your fault. Actually, Todoroki, or Big Brother. It wasn't your fault. It was Momo's, to be, if you point fingers at. As she tells her that I know that but it feels like everything's my fault. So yeah, Yeah, Zuko, or so, yeah. So, yeah. And so then Todoroki tells them that, because since after that, and she said she saw me with Momo, like what the same moves that he did with her. He could, or she could tell that it, yeah. So do you see a big picture? The Yeah, as she tells him that nothing's your fault. Oh, and yeah. So then yeah. So Endeavor says, yeah. And to be honest with you, Todoroki, I would like, if I was like your age, and if I didn't have all of you at that age, I would have chose Zumi over her anyone else. But don't tell your mom that. But I'm just, as he knows that, or Todoroki knows that since when he looked at his or his, like, he knows that Zumi him is, couldn't believe that he fell for the dark side, basically a villain, as he couldn't, like, imagine the thoughts. Yeah. And yeah. So I'm going to leave it off before I go any deeper. So please leave a like, share, subscribe, and have a nice day, if not.